The bartender at McNelly's doesn't even ask what I want anymore. Just slides the Moscow Mule across the scarred wood and goes back to wiping down glasses. This is my third one tonight. Maybe fourth. I've lost count, just like I've lost everything else. Through the window, I can see Chase's truck parked outside the gym across the street. Same CrossFit box he's been hitting every night for the past 6 months. Same routine. Work, gym, home to his new apartment downtown. No deviation. No surprises. No me. He's different now. Harder. The soft edges I used to tease him about are gone, replaced with sharp angles and cold eyes. Last week I saw him at Whole Foods with her. Melissa. She looked like she stepped out of a fitness magazine. She was laughing at something he said, touching his arm, and he was smiling that crooked smile I used to think belonged to me. That's not even the worst part. The worst part is how our mutual friends look at me now. Like I'm radioactive. Like I'm the cautionary tale their mothers warned them about. Don't be like Sabrina, I imagine them saying. Don't destroy a good man with your need for drama. 6 months. That's all it took for my perfect life to crumble. 6 months since I had the brilliant idea to pretend I was leaving Chase, to accuse him of things he'd never done, all for a surprise birthday party that never happened. 6 months since I learned that some pranks cost you everything. But I'm getting ahead of the story. Let me tell you how I managed to turn the best man in Tulsa into someone who looks through me like I'm glass. Chase and I had been together for 4 years. We met at a Thunder Watch party at Lefty's in Midtown. He was the guy actually watching the game instead of trying to impress girls, drinking Coors Light from the bottle and yelling at the refs. I liked that he didn't notice me at first. Made him different from the Tulsa State frat boys who usually hit on me. When he finally did notice me, it was because I called him out on a bad basketball take. Something about Russell Westbrook that I can't even remember now. We argued about it for 20 minutes, him getting more animated, me getting more charmed. By the end of the night, I had his number and a date for that weekend. 4 years later, we were living together in a duplex near Riverside. Chase worked as a petroleum engineer for Phillips 66. I managed social media for a local restaurant group. We had Sunday dinners with his parents in Broken Arrow, Tuesday trivia nights at Marshall Brewing, a shared Netflix queue full of shows we'd never finish. It was comfortable, safe, predictable, maybe too predictable. I first started feeling restless around Valentine's Day. Chase had made reservations at the chalkboard like he did every year. Same restaurant, same table, same bottle of wine. He'd probably propose there eventually, I thought. Probably had it all planned out already. The ring was probably in his sock drawer, waiting for the perfect, predictable moment. Don't get me wrong. I loved Chase. Loved how he brought me coffee in bed every morning exactly how I liked it. Loved how he'd fix things around the house without being asked. Loved how he looked at me like I was the only woman in Oklahoma worth looking at. But sometimes love isn't enough when you're 28 and feeling like your youth is slipping away. Sometimes you need excitement, drama, something to make your heart race. You need to shake things up, my best friend Jenna said over bottomless mimosas at the tavern. Remember when y'all first started dating? You were obsessed, couldn't shut up about him. I'm still obsessed, I protested, but even I could hear the lie. Girl, please, you're bored. When's the last time y'all did something spontaneous? I thought about it. Couldn't remember. Our life ran on schedules now. Monday meal prep, Wednesday date night, Saturday farmer's market, Sunday football, rinse and repeat. His birthday's coming up, Jenna said, eyes lighting up. You should do something crazy. Shake him up a little. That planted the seed. Chase's 30th birthday was 3 weeks away, and I'd been struggling to plan something special. He kept saying he didn't want a big party, just dinner with close friends. But 30 is a massive milestone. It deserved more than dinner at Ted's Cafe Escondido. The idea came to me during my Pure Barre class 2 weeks later. I was holding a plank, sweat dripping onto my mat, when the instructor said something about pushing through discomfort to get results. Sometimes you have to shock your system, she panted. Keep your body guessing. Keep him guessing. That's what I needed to do. Shock Chase's system, remind him not to take me for granted, then surprise him with the party of his life. It was genius. I recruited Jenna and our friend Tara to help. The plan was simple. I'd stage a fake breakup, leave the apartment for a couple days while setting up an amazing surprise party, then reveal it was all a prank. Chase would be so relieved and amazed that he'd forget all about being upset. We'd have a great story to tell at our wedding. "Are you sure about this?" Tara asked when I explained it over wine at Juniper. "It seems mean." "It's not mean," I insisted. "It's romantic, like in a rom-com. The misunderstanding that makes the happy ending even sweeter." Jenna was more enthusiastic. "It's brilliant. He'll never see it coming. Plus, men need to be reminded what they have sometimes." We spent the next week planning. I'd leave while Chase was at work on Wednesday, take some clothes and toiletries to make it look real. Stay at Jenna's apartment in the Arts District. She had the perfect setup for a party. Rooftop access, great view of downtown. We'd invite all his friends, his family, have Burn County BBQ cater, get that craft beer he loved from American Solera. "What are you going to tell him?" Tara asked. "Like why you're leaving?" I hadn't thought that far ahead. "I don't know. That I need space? That I'm feeling suffocated?" "Tell him you're unhappy with the physical stuff," Jenna suggested. "And oh, that always throws guys off." "But that's not true. Our sex life is fine." "Girl, it's a prank. The whole thing isn't true." She had a point, and it would definitely shock his system. The morning of, I almost backed out. Chase brought me coffee in bed like always, kissed my forehead, told me he loved me. He was talking about weekend plans, maybe driving to Dallas to catch a Mavericks game. So normal, so sweet, so unsuspecting. "Have a good day, babe," he said as he left for work. "Love you." "Love you too," I replied, already mentally packing my bags. As soon as his truck pulled away, I sprang into action. Threw clothes into a duffel bag, grabbed toiletries, left drawers slightly open, and hangers on the bed to make it look like I'd packed in a hurry. I was actually getting excited. This was the most spontaneous thing I'd done in years. Around lunch, I sent the text, "We need to talk when you get home." He replied immediately. "Everything okay?" "Just, we'll talk later." "Sabrina, what's going on? You're scaring me." I didn't respond. Let him wonder. The shock to the system was already working. I also left a note on the counter. Jenna said it needed to be dramatic to sell the surprise later. So I wrote, "I can't do this anymore. I feel like I can't breathe when I'm here. Don't look for me." At the time, I thought it sounded dramatic in a Taylor Swift breakup song kind of way, not like a cry for help. But reading it now, I get it. It reads like I was being controlled, maybe even worse. Jenna picked me up around 2. "You ready for this?" "Ready to give him the best birthday ever," I said, tossing my bag in her Range Rover. We spent the afternoon setting up her apartment in the Arts District, calling vendors, creating a Facebook event. I made it private, only inviting people who could keep a secret. About 25 confirmed, including Chase's brother from Norman and his best friend who was driving up from Austin. "What should the event description say?" Jenna asked, phone in hand. "Keep it simple. Surprise party for Chase's 30th. And put 'do not mention' to Chase in all caps." "What about the reason for the party theme? Like why you left?" "I don't know. Say it's complicated. Relationship stuff." That's where everything started to go wrong. Jenna, wine-buzzed and typing fast, added something about how I'd finally had enough and was done with the disrespect. She meant it as a joke, playing into the drama of the prank. But Tara, who'd had even more wine, commented, "About time, we all know what he's been doing." She meant it sarcastically, an inside joke about how Chase was literally the most respectful, loyal guy in Tulsa, how he'd never even look at another woman. But social media doesn't understand sarcasm. Within an hour, the comments were spiraling. Friends of friends were asking what happened. Someone mentioned calling the police. My phone started blowing up with texts I wasn't reading because I was too busy arguing with the party venue about decorations. Meanwhile, Chase was living through hell. I know this part from his brother Dylan, who told me later in painful detail. Chase got home to find half my stuff gone and no explanation beyond my cryptic texts. He called me 17 times, texted dozens more, finally called his parents, then mine, then our friends. That's when he saw the Facebook posts. Not the private event, the public speculation that had somehow started. Screenshots of Tara's comment started circulating. People discussing what I must have finally had enough of. Theories about what he'd been doing. People who didn't even know us were commenting, "Men are trash," and "I'm so glad you got out safe, sis." One girl from his high school posted, "I always got a weird vibe from him. Trust your gut." It was an echo chamber of validation for a victim who didn't exist. By nightfall, Chase's entire world had imploded. His mom was crying on the phone. His boss called to ask if everything was okay, having heard rumors. His ex from college reached out to say she always suspected he had anger issues. And where was I? Drunk at Jenna's, taste-testing cocktails for the party, completely oblivious to the destruction I'd caused. I blocked Chase's number around 7. Jenna convinced me it would make the surprise better. "Let him sweat," she said. "The relief will hit harder." The next morning, I woke up to 53 missed calls from various numbers. My mom, Chase's parents, friends, even my boss. The first voicemail I listened to was from Tara, sobbing. "Sabrina, what the fuck did we do? Everyone thinks Chase is an abuser. It's all over Facebook. His cousin posted this long thing about supporting victims. You need to fix this now." My hands were shaking as I scrolled through my phone. The private event had somehow become public. The comments were a nightmare. People I hadn't spoken to since high school were weighing in on my brave decision to leave my abusive partner. Someone had started a GoFundMe for me. "Jenna," I shook her awake, "we have to stop this." She groaned, clearly hungover. "Stop what?" I showed her my phone, watched the color drain from her face. Holy shit, delete it. Delete everything." But it was too late. The internet had already decided Chase was a monster, based on nothing, based on a stupid prank that was supposed to make him appreciate me more. No one ever made it to the rooftop. By the time the party was supposed to happen, everyone was panicking, confused, or furious. Half the guest list had already messaged Jenna saying they were so sorry for what I was going through. Burnco canceled the order. We never even opened the beer. I unblocked his number and called him. He didn't answer. Called again. Nothing. 15 times, straight to voicemail. "Chase, baby, please call me back. It's not what you think. It's all a misunderstanding. Please." Finally, a text came through. Not from Chase, from Dylan. "He knows about your prank. I told him, stay away from my brother. He's done with you." My stomach dropped. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this," I told Jenna. "He'll understand when I explain." "Explain what?" she snapped. "That you publicly humiliated him, ruined his reputation for a fucking party?" "You helped," I shouted back. "This was your idea too. I said shake things up, not destroy his life." We spent the next 3 hours doing damage control. Deleting posts, messaging people, trying to explain. But you can't put toothpaste back in the tube. The rumors were out there, spreading through Tulsa's surprisingly small social network like wildfire. I drove to our apartment that afternoon. Chase's truck was gone, but his brother's car was in the driveway. Dylan met me at the door, blocking my entrance. "He's not here," he said coldly, "and you're not welcome here." "Dylan, please, let me explain." "Explain what? That you thought it would be funny to destroy his reputation? Do you have any idea what you've done? His work is doing an investigation. Our mom had a panic attack. All for what, Sabrina? A party?" It got out of hand. I never meant. You never thought. That's your problem. You never think about anyone but yourself. You know HR called him in? He's on administrative leave pending an investigation because someone tagged his company in that thread. You didn't just hurt his feelings, Sabrina. You messed with his livelihood. He's not crying over you. He's terrified he's going to lose his clearance. He slammed the door in my face. I spent the next week in crisis mode, stayed with Jenna, though our friendship was strained. At first, Jenna helped me do damage control, but soon, the silence in the apartment got loud. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was just easier to pretend none of it was her fault. I posted explanation after explanation online, but nobody wanted to hear it. The narrative was locked in. Chase was the abuser, I was the victim, and my walkback just looked like the usual victim denial. The few friends who believed me were disgusted anyway. Even as a prank, that's sick, one said. What kind of person does that? Chase wouldn't answer my calls, texts, emails. I drove by his work, but security wouldn't let me in. Sat outside our apartment for hours, but he never came home. Finally, Dylan texted me that Chase was staying with friends and I needed to stop stalking him or they'd get a restraining order. 2 weeks after the prank, I got a formal letter. Chase was breaking the lease, wanted me to either take over the apartment or move out. All communication would go through Dylan. He wanted no contact. I chose to keep the apartment, thinking he'd eventually come home. He never did. Dylan came with movers while I was at work, took all of Chase's things, left his key on the counter with no note. The silence was the worst part, going from talking to someone every day for 4 years to nothing. No good morning texts, no check-ins about dinner, no stupid memes or inside jokes. Just silence. I started drinking more. Wine at lunch became routine. Happy hour turned into happy hours. Jenna started pulling away. Maybe guilty, maybe just tired of me talking about it non-stop. Tara moved to Dallas, claiming it was for work, but I knew she couldn't stand the shame of what we'd done. 3 months after the prank, I saw Chase for the first time. At Whole Foods, like I mentioned. He was in the produce section, carefully selecting avocados. He'd lost weight, gained muscle. His hair was shorter, styled differently. He wore fitted clothes instead of his usual baggy work polos. "Chase," I called out before I could stop myself. He turned, and for a second I saw something flicker in his eyes. Then nothing. Like shutters coming down. "Hi, Sabrina," he said politely, like I was a distant acquaintance. "You look good," I said stupidly. "Different." "Thanks." He turned back to inspecting the avocados. "Can we talk, please, just 5 minutes?" "I don't think that's a good idea." "Chase, please, I'm sorry, I'm so fucking sorry. It was supposed to be—" "A prank, I know." He finally looked at me fully, and the emptiness in his eyes made me step back. "Dylan told me everything. The party, the surprise, all of it." "Then you know I never meant to hurt you. It just got out of control." "You accused me of abuse," he said quietly. "Do you understand that? You let people believe I hurt you. For a party." "I didn't accuse you of anything. People assumed—" "Because you let them. Because you thought it was funny to play games." I told myself I didn't accuse him. But I knew what I was doing when I left that note. When I didn't answer his calls. When I let people believe the worst. That's on me. A woman appeared beside him then. The blonde from the gym, even prettier up close. She looked between us uncertainly. "Everything okay?" she asked Chase, hand on his arm. "Yeah, just running into an old friend," he said. "Sabrina, this is Melissa. Melissa, Sabrina." Old friend. Like we hadn't shared a bed for 4 years. Like I hadn't been planning our wedding in my head. "Nice to meet you," Melissa said with that polite but firm tone women use when they sense history. "We should go," Chase said to her. "The movie starts soon." They walked away together, her hand sliding into his like it belonged there. She wasn't wearing a ton of makeup, and her nails were short, bare, confident. The kind of woman who didn't need to perform to keep a man interested. She just has to be. I stood in the produce section, holding a bag of organic spinach I didn't remember picking up, watching my replacement walk away with my life. That was 3 months ago. Since then, I've become a regular at McNelly's. I've cyberstalked Melissa enough to know she's a pediatric nurse who volunteers at the animal shelter and runs half marathons. Perfect. Fucking perfect. Chase never posts on social media anymore, but she does. Pictures of them at the gathering place, at Thunder games, on weekend trips to Broken Arrow to see his parents. His mom comments heart emojis on every photo. The woman who used to call me her future daughter-in-law. Our friend group split after the prank. Some stuck by me out of loyalty or pity. Most chose Chase, especially after the truth came out. Can't blame them. Who wants to be friends with someone capable of such casual cruelty? I've tried dating, created profiles on all the apps, been on a dozen first dates with men who either know the story and judge me for it or don't know, and I have to lie about why my last relationship ended. The lies get exhausting. The truth is worse. My job suffered too. Turns out managing social media gets tricky when you become the cautionary tale for a viral disaster. My boss didn't fire me, but I got moved to back-end work. No more influencer events or publicity campaigns. Just spreadsheets and scheduling. Jenna and I barely talk now. She's dating some doctor from St. Francis, posting happy couple photos like she didn't help destroy my life. When I called her out on it, she said I needed to take responsibility for my choices. You can't blame everyone else forever, she said. At some point you have to admit you fucked up. But I did admit it. Apologized publicly, privately, in every way possible. It didn't matter. Some mistakes can't be undone with sorry. The worst part is the man Chase became. Not worse, better. The prank that was supposed to shake him up, make him appreciate me more, instead freed him. He became the man I always pushed him to be. More confident, more stylish, more adventurous. Just not with me. I heard from Dylan that Chase got promoted. Team lead or something. Bought a condo in the Pearl District. Started rock climbing at Climb Tulsa, something he'd always talked about but never did because I thought it was too dangerous. He's living his best life. The life I wanted us to have together. Except I'm not in it. Sometimes I drive by his new building. Not to stalk, just to torture myself. See his truck in the resident parking, Melissa's white Mazda beside it. I wonder if she notices the little things. The coffee in bed, the forehead kisses, the unwavering loyalty. Wonder if she knows how lucky she is. She probably does. She probably never takes him for granted, never needs drama to feel alive. She probably thanks her lucky stars every day that some idiot ex handed her the best man in Tulsa on a silver platter. That idiot ex is 4 Moscow mules deep, watching Chase's truck through the bar window. He'll leave the gym soon, hair still damp with sweat, that post-workout glow he never had when we were together. He'll drive home to Melissa, who probably has dinner waiting. Something healthy and delicious, not the takeout we lived on. They'll eat together, talking about their days. Maybe watch something on Netflix, her feet in his lap on the couch we picked out together at Mathis Brothers. Later they'll go to bed in his new place, fall asleep wrapped around each other like he and I used to do before I got bored with happiness. Tomorrow will be the same. And the next day. A predictable, comfortable life that I threw away because I thought I needed excitement. Turns out the only thing worse than a predictable life is an unpredictable one you're living alone. The bartender cuts me off after the 4th drink, calls me an Uber like he has before. I leave a decent tip because service industry people need to stick together, especially those of us who've fallen from grace. As the car pulls away from McNelly's, I catch a glimpse of Chase's truck turning out of the gym parking lot. For a second, I swear he looks right at me, but then he's gone, heading home to his new life, and I'm heading home to my empty apartment. It still smells like him sometimes. Or maybe that's just my brain trying to trick me. His stuff's all gone, but I still reach for the coffee mug he used like it's there. 6 months. That's all it took to destroy 4 years. One fake breakup. One so-called prank. One surprise party that never even happened. Now, Chase is someone else. Harder, happier, and completely out of reach. And I'm just the cautionary tale, the crazy ex who accused him of awful things for fun. I wanted to shock his system, make him appreciate what he had. Instead, I showed him what he was missing. Showed him life could be better without me. And now he's living it, while I'm drowning in Moscow mules and might-have-beens. My phone buzzes as I unlock my apartment door. For a stupid second, I think it might be Chase. It never is anymore. Just my mom asking if I'm okay, if I need anything. I send back the same lie I always do. I'm fine. But I'm not fine. Haven't been for 6 months. Maybe won't be for another 6 or 60. Because how do you recover from destroying the best thing in your life? How do you forgive yourself for a prank that cost you everything? You don't? You just drink Moscow mules at McNelly's and watch through windows as the man you broke rebuilds himself into someone who doesn't need you anymore. Someone who learned that predictable isn't boring, it's safe. And safe is what you appreciate when someone lights your world on fire for fun. I wanted drama. I got it. Turns out a boring, predictable life with someone who loves you is worth more than all the excitement in the world. But I learned that 6 months and 4 Moscow mules too late. Now all I have is the drama I created and the empty apartment where it all fell apart. Chase has everything else. The new life, the new girl, the new confidence I tried to shock into him. He got the happy ending. I got the punchline.